Welcome to Industry News. I am your host, Misty Beasley. And in this segment of our show, this is when we discuss two competitors in the same industry and compare them. The industry that we'll be talking about today and discussing will be the cereal industry. The top two competitors for the cereal industry are General Mills and Kellogg's. After weeks of analyzing both companies, I have come to the conclusion that both companies have many strengths. Trying to determine which company is the best of the two was my objective for today's episode. For centuries, families have relied on cold cereal. Cold cereal is simple, it's sweet, and healthy. And for families on the go, it allows them to eat in what we call a busy life. Let's start first with General Mills. General Mills racks in over $17 billion a year in revenues. They have various products that fall under trademarks and service markets that are either owned or licensed. They also are manufactured in 16 countries and are marketed in over 100 countries. They have enough assets to cover their liabilities, and they depend on their inventory, which is turned 12 times a year compared to its competitor Kellogg's 7 times a year. General Mills has less debt, and it is more consistent when generating its assets to make profit. Lastly, they have more free cash flow. Having more free cash flow allows General Mills to invest or create new products. Now, when we look at Kellogg's, they bring in over $14 billion a year in revenues. Kellogg's is manufactured in 18 countries and is marketed in 180 countries. They also provide many items outside of cold cereal. Their stock price is $69 per share, which is higher than its competitor, General Mills. They have enough assets to cover their liabilities, and they also depend on their inventory. However, their accounts receivables are paid faster, which allows them to have more cash at hand to spend. Their return on equity is also better than General Mills, and that indicates that Kellogg uses its money from investors better. The decision for me was very hard. Both companies have great strengths which stand out and make them competitors overall. General Mills brings in more money, they have trademarks, and they have international presence. They have enough assets to cover their debt, but in their inventory is turned over more times a year compared to Kellogg's. They have more free cash flow, which is allowed to invest and create new products. Kellogg's, on the other hand, is manufactured in 18 countries and marketed in 180 countries. Kellogg has a higher stock price, as stated before, of $69 per share. Their accounts receivables are collected faster, and they use their investors' money better. Again, this was a tough decision, but I must say that General Mills is the better company. After making a decision this last week on which company was the best between the two, I got a surprise reaction from General Mills' competitor, Tony the Tiger, and things got a little out of hand. I asked Tony 3 simple questions. What do you have to say about General Mills making more money than Kellogg's? Why does General Mills have more free cash flow? And why are they more consistent when getting assets to make a profit? This was his reply.
They're great.
Well, folks, you heard it right here on Industry News. I'm your host, Misty Beasley, and whether your cereal choice is magically delicious, be healthy, or has you going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, even Tony the Tiger had to say and admit that General Mills was the better company because they are great.